Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As I mentioned in the last video, we're going to work on the 35 Plymouth, try to get a carburetor on this thing. It's needed a carb for a while since I've gotten it, and I've had it 8 years. So today we're going to see if we can't get this old one off, get the new one put on. We may need the fuel pump changed. I'm going to wait and do that after I get the carb on and just see how it responds. And eventually I'm going to do the fuel pump for sure anyway, but I wanted to kind of just see. Today's goal basically is to get this thing started. So we'll see how we do. And without any further ado, let's dive in. All right, it's a little warm out here today. Good thing I'm not old and my back doesn't hurt. All right, there we go. Just put this nut back on here on this throttle cable so I don't lose it, because I will. 4 reels. All right, I think we got her freed up. Is that true or not? Yay! Okay, that's the easy part. Little gasket materials. So here's the old dude. It's all grimy and can be rebuilt, sure. I mean, doesn't look that bad. It just probably needs rebuilt. And I thought about rebuilding this one instead of getting a new one, but I've not had a ton of experience rebuilding carburetors, and by saying ton, I mean like none. So I figured rather than learning right now, the goal is to get this thing, running. So I thought for now, let's buy a new one. Rebuild kit wasn't, in the grand scheme of things, I guess it was maybe, I don't know, half the price or whatever, but just felt like the right thing to do is to buy a new one. So I'll take some time and clean this area off. Let me bring you over here. All right, so got her off. All the vacuum hoses and the fuel line. So this is most likely, most of this at least, is going to get replaced. Fuel pump is down there. It may get replaced, but we're going to try to just start here put the filter in and go forward for now. See if we can't get her going, and then see how it runs. And if that's enough for today, then that is enough for today. And we'll put the rest of the stuff on eventually. You can see this motor's kind of tired. I would say it needs head work and all that stuff. It's been sitting for a bit, so it smokes when it starts and all of that stuff. But yeah, you know, it's been, I'll tell you, it's done its job. I know Uncle Dave had this thing. He would drive it all over the place. We're in central Illinois, and he would drive it to the hill climb in Indiana. You know, he would trust it to do those kinds of things. Now, I wouldn't trust it today to do that, because this transmission, especially, like I said, is problematic. Probably allows me to get about 45 to 50 miles an hour, and it just has a lot of problems, so it really needs a rebuild. But again, I'm hoping to just cruise it around a little bit this year. So I don't anticipate changing the transmission. I am going to change that pan gasket soon. Well, the pan too, the transmission pan and gasket, because it leaks like a sieve. However, for now, we are just going to get this thing running. I'll check all the fluids again, make sure everything's good there, and then we'll get her out. Today might just be a driveway ride, but we'll get her out on the road here. I've got 3 more days off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this coming week here. So my hope is that I'll be able to spend a little more time out here and maybe get it a little more roadworthy and drive it. So let's get it going. Thought I'd give you a little bit better look here, what's going on. So I just took out the carb studs, the old ones. You can see they're kind of gnarly looking. You know, teeth are all methed up and all that stuff. And you know, eventually we're gonna put new hoses and all this stuff. Like I said, this piece is gonna likely come off here as I replace the fuel filter and run that new fuel line. I might have to cut part of this to bridge the gap there, but essentially I'm going to take some cleaner here and clean this surface up so that we can put the new carb on it, and see if we can't get that done. Yeah, this is really going to need some major cleaning. It's got a lot of gook and stuff, but this carb may have to end up coming back off sometime soon, but that's okay. For today, we just want to get it running. So okay, here's the carburetor installation instructions. I almost wasn't going to use this, and I thought, yeah, you know, typical guy, you know. I'm going to go ahead and read through it, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, but I've got a universal kind of Edelbrock fuel line kit. It's got the filter and the hard fuel line. Got the air cleaner adapter, and here's the gaskets and the wiring for the electric choke and the T for vacuum lines, all that good stuff. Carb studs. So we'll see what we got here. So I'm gonna save you all the time of me searching through this, but we'll meet you back over at the car. So real quick, I'm just kind of going through some things, and one of the things I got to do to fit this fuel line on is to take this stock fuel inlet off, and then put it to where this should go essentially like this. So I'm doing that, just kind of prepping everything, getting it ready, and then we'll go from there. But we got our gaskets ready. I was going to show you the funny tag I got. Must have tossed it already. That said not to use Z85 in it. But I guess it's not funny. Some people may try to do that. I know some cars are becoming equipped with that, make them a little more economical. But anyway, I'm going to get these unpacked as well and kind of get things set up, and we'll go from there. One thing I didn't point out was this fuel line kit, in case you decide to use one. You know, it comes with the fuel line, looks like this. It's already comes with this fitting. Let me back this up here. The important thing is you've got these two, they're washers, but I think they kind of act as O-rings also. They're coated, and you've got the this fitting here. So one of these would go on that side, so you get a good seat against the fuel line itself. So I've got the one on there, and I'll just work that through there, and then put the other side on, and then essentially it goes in that hole there. So I'll go ahead and install that now. Okay, there you go. You can see it kind of runs under this side under the choke, and it's 3/4. Didn't have to cinch it up super tight. Now we should be able to go put these carb studs in place and the gasket, and get this thing in place. So we'll meet you over there. Okay, got the carb studs in. I actually had to relocate them. I went back and looked at the original orientation and noticed that they were on the inside and not the outside, so that's where I'm going to put them. I assume that was the right place because it kind of worked fine for all these years, so that's what we're going to go with. I could read directions, but yeah, you know, just forget about that. So I'm going to slide that puppy on there, make sure that it's seated well. See, I've got the fuel line. Oops, sorry guys. Got the fuel line in place here. Need to double check some adjustments. That doesn't look like looks like there's something binding that up. So I'm gonna put you guys back over here a little bit while we figure this dude out. All right, let's see what's going on here. I got these washers and nuts for the carb studs. Be careful around the carburetor and the intake, by the way. I didn't mention that, but you don't want to drop these down in your engine. That would be a very bad day. So I'll place these down here until we can figure out why this thing is moving around. I think I just figured it out. Yeah, the old fuel line was sitting in the way here, and it was causing it to be unbalanced, or it was kind of causing one end of it to be. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, this fuel line, kind of twist it over until I need to cut it. And then we'll connect the other end to that and go on about our business. So I'm going to need to connect the vacuum lines back up the way they were. I don't exactly remember where they were from my, because my memory is just super awesome, And so I need to kind of revisit those so I get these back on the right way. Don't want any unneeded vacuum leaks. So I'll double check all of that, and then we will come over here and I'll give you guys a better shot of this, but I'm going to need to connect the throttle cable back up to the linkage accordingly, and then see how this dude goes. I'm a little confused already as to why that doesn't engage the flappers. So I think I might have something not quite right there. Maybe before I bolt this down, I think I'm going to have to figure that out, because I don't want to put this in place and then have to finagle it but it looks like maybe something is out of whack here, because I would think that as I pulled this throttle linkage back, I would engage the secondaries, the butterfly, and I'm not seeing that happen. So I feel like something's not quite right there. So I'm gonna take it back over to the bench, and when I figure it out, I'll show you what I found. So I'm comparing the two carburetors, right? They're virtually, I think they're close to the same carb. But what I noticed is on the old one, it isn't tied into this either. Some of you guys that are carb gurus are gonna know right off the gate why this is the way it is. But like I said, I'm still pretty new to adjusting them, but I know this isn't probably a normal thing. Secondary flapper is wired open on the original one. I'm assuming that I wouldn't want to do that if I could help it, but I need to kind of figure out why. So I'm going to be going back to the drawing board. While I'm at it, I'm going to take note of these little vacuum, that's some vacuum, what am I trying to say? We'll just call them hats, just because that's fun. They're basically blocking off the vacuum lines. So we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna push that dude on there. That one doesn't have one, and I think that had, because it's kind of shiny, I think it had a hose on it. So when we review the video, we will know. One thing I noticed that on the back of this, we have a bolt that is not, I think it's actually included. Yeah, right, no, where'd it go? It's probably this dude right here. I bet you that guy fits right in there. Look at that, see? I don't remember what that is. I know I should know that. But we're gonna stick it in there for now. May need to pull that back out or whatever later, but for the time being, I'll probably loosen this guy. I don't know if I'm supposed to use any tape on these threaded connections. It didn't appear like a lot of guys were doing that on the videos. Anyway, you don't need to watch all that. I'll pull that guy out and see, and then we'll react accordingly on that dude. But I am going to, if you guys have any more an understanding of this and why this would be wired open, I suspect maybe because the choke wasn't working, or I don't know if that even had anything to do with it. You know, I'm an idiot, so I don't know. But anywho, I'm going to investigate all that, and then I'll put this guy back into place and get her cinched down. Okay, we got the carb secured. We have the throttle linkage connected. That little bitty screw on the other side of that was, let's just call it a pain. What I found on the other deal was, it occurred to me that the butterfly here is essentially controlled by this electric choke. So that should take care of that. I think it was wired up because the electric choke probably wasn't working right or something. I do have a few more things to do. I've got to connect the fuel line to this, to the filter. So I need to cut some of this hose and just get it, I'm gonna take that, well, let's see, how are we gonna do that? I need to probably take that fuel filter off and then try to figure out if I've got a piece of pipe or something I can stick in there and fasten these two hoses together so I can connect here and here. And then got to do another kind of check and make sure I got all the lines, vacuum lines and everything hooked back up appropriately. and go from there. And then when I get that done, I'll show you what I did. And we shouldn't be too far from kind of firing things up. Here's one electrical connection. There's actually two of them here. So there's that guy. I got to look to see which one that goes on. I believe it's this one. And then the other guy is this black one. And I believe that one goes here. I'm going to hook them up that way, and then we're going to look and double check and make sure, but I'm positive almost that this was on the right side. And this dude here is on this side. So there we go. I'm going to double check those, but I think that's right. Oh, okay, that's just an optical illusion. Got it. Okay, that's on. I was going to say that looked like it was loose. Okay, so all the studs have been tightened up. I'm wondering, it didn't have a spacer in here before, but I wonder if this would actually be better with a spacer. I think when you torque the bolts down and everything, it secures a little bit better. Plus having a little bit of extra, I think plenum height sometimes can be advantageous, but I know that it said with certain intakes and certain carbs, you need that. This one didn't have it originally, but whether I really need it or not, I'm not sure. So I'll probably look that up just to see, and then if I pull this back apart and start detailing it, getting the new valve covers and everything back on it, then we will address it then. Okay, so I'll see you in a few minutes when I get the rest of this all hooked up, and then we should be ready to get some gas in it and see if it'll fire up. See you in a minute. Well, I think I've got everything hooked back up except for one of the most important parts, and that's the fuel line here. So I disconnected that other hose here that was on the fuel line. There was a fuel filter here. Now the fuel filter is up here. But if you look at this connection, I need to get that connector that would accept a hose with a hose clamp. And so that hose that I had here also is so dry rotted. It just cracks and breaks. So I'm gonna go get some more hose and a fitting for that, and I will be back. Okay, well, we got her connected, everything's on. Put the fresh battery in, it does crank. I put some starting fluid in it, but I probably need gas. Let's just see. Okay, looks like we need some gas. It's not even trying to fire, so hang on, we'll get some gas. Okay, put a little bit of fuel in the carb. I expect it to fire, but I really think the fuel pump is gonna need change, so we'll see. Yeah, I think we're having a hard time getting fuel into the carburetor. So that tells me it's not gonna do it. It's liable to start over or turn over, but it ain't gonna stay running, I'm sure. Let me see, put you here for 1 second. Okay, let's see what happens. Probably need to spray a little more starting fluid in there too, but well, let's just see. Well, we have ignition, but it petered out, as you might guess. Yeah, I think we're just having some trouble with the fuel delivery. Hold tight. Okay, one more time. Well, that wasn't the greatest. I need a remote starter. Sounded pretty. Well, folks, she's running, but it's closed up in here. I better turn this off here before too long, but I have no idea what the fuel pressure is, so I need to figure that out, but I'm gonna gas myself out. All right, well, I'm gonna call that success for today. And yeah, tomorrow we'll see if we can actually get it motivating and take it up and down the driveway. But I'm going to call that good for now. Kind of need to check on some things. Probably need to check on the spark plugs and make sure that's all good. Sounds like we're not getting very good ignition either. So there could be multiple things, but this old girl has been a little bit tired, so probably, it probably needs a new distributor cap, all that sort of thing. But this whole motor needs to be rebuilt, but I was kind of hoping not to have to do that this year. So anyway, we shall see, but we at least got it running, and it may very well start up again. Let's just see, shall we? I'm gonna stand outside for a minute. We got lots of fumids. Kind of see all the fumes in there. It's not very safe, so don't do that at home. That can get you. So anyway, I think for today we're gonna call that good. I was hoping to at least get it running. We got it running. It's not running great, but it is running. So tomorrow we'll see if we can get her started again and see if we can start to check on the things like the spark plugs and all that stuff and make it be a little happier. She's running pretty rough. All right, with that, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, made some room. Now we've got to get this little girl out into the sunlight. Hopefully give her a bath. Let's see if she's going to start in a couple of days here. Still a little sluggish. Go, get a little gas moving now. She's kind of woo. Yeah, we still have, appears like we still have a fuel delivery issue, which is not, that's expected. We got to get that fuel pump on, but kind of want to get her cleaned up, get outside, get on, better look at everything. she's running rough. I'll make some adjustments. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, it's been several days since I've messed with the Plymouth. Done a lot of work stuff going on, and so I'm just now getting back to it. Hoping to spend a couple hours on this today. I have a fear that I'm going to have to end up siphoning this gas tank. Well, I know I'm going to have to siphon the gas tank, but I'm kind of afraid I'm going to stir up some sediment and plug up the fuel filter and all that good stuff. So you might remember we put this contraption on early in the week. It worked, but then stupid me, forgot that I don't know if you can see this. I left the existing fuel line open, not thinking that the mechanical fuel pump is pumping gas all over the place. Yeah, so that's brain dead. That's why don't try this at home. So the next thing I'm just gonna have to do is, while this at least showed me that it started and it was gonna run, it felt like pretty decent, like it might line out within about 10 seconds. It was all we had it running, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just hook this fuel line back up to the existing line coming from the gas tank, and I'm going to siphon all the gas out and then replace it and hope that I don't stir up a bunch of sediment. What I need to do, and what I am going to end up doing, I haven't ordered it yet, but I may do that today, is order a fuel cell for it and then just replace all the lines. It needs that anyway, but I didn't really want to do it today. I really wanted to get this thing out on the road and take it around the block. That was my goal. Whether really going to be able to do that, if I had to guess, no. But I'm going to shoot for it anyway. We'll see what happens. And if not, that's cool. I'll still post the video, and we'll end up starting to tear into the fuel system, and then I'll just show you what that looks like. I was hoping that I was going to be able to do that later rather than sooner, but that may not be the case. So I need to run to the store because I don't have I've got a fuel gallon, or like a 5-gallon gas tank here, and I've got I gotta be able to flip this back and forth. Doesn't seem to let me do it while I'm recording, but the gas tank here, or the gas cap, it's still got the original tank on the car. I've got like a fuel siphoning kit, but it's really not really gonna work for this application. So I'm gonna have to get something to siphon the gas out into probably a couple of gas cans. I don't know how much gas is in this for sure. Probably at least 2 gallons at least. So we'll see. Then once I get that out, I'm going to try as much as I can not to disturb anything in there just so I can run it for a little bit. And then at some point here in the near future, we'll try to dig into the rest of the fuel system. But we'll see what happens.